Okay, thank you everybody for tuning to the Global from Asia podcast. This one's been on my list for a while, and especially under the circumstances, it's good timing. Ivan and I have known each other in a couple of years now in Chiang Mai, Thailand. He's a seller and active person in the community for the FBA sellers and digital nomads. So thanks for joining us today, Ivan.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Do you mind to introduce yourself a little bit? You're from Singapore originally, and maybe some of your background, where a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been working in the FBA for like 3 years, and I've done co-hosting with you
Yep.
in Chiang Mai for meetups, right? And
Meetups.
because of this, yeah. So recently, because of this mass issue, I set up a team of middlemen, right, by accident, which is
Okay.
quite strong because we have one lawyer in the group, a very strong businessman in the group, and a good leads finder in the group.
Okay.
So we have managed to close two big deals right now.
Wow.
And I have grown to have like more in-depth knowledge of the current situation for Mars.
Okay. That's cool. So let's back up a little bit. So, yeah, of course, like we know each other from the community. We co-host some FBA meetups in Chiang Mai, which is great. And then I've been gone for a couple of months, as you know. I'm in China now, stuck in Manila. So since then, this virus is going crazy, and so since the last month or so, you've been doing this mask trading business. So you said a group. Can you tell us how it started?
Well, I sort of invited friends based on language skills and region. And one of my friends, I think you know him, I'll tell you who later, all right?
Okay.
And he speaks Spanish, all right? And I have another friend who's from Europe. I invited him in, and then he invited a lady, all right, who is a very strong business lady with very strong business links. All right.
Okay.
I have strong links in China.
Yep.
So in a way, and also my friend who speaks Spanish is a lawyer.
Okay.
And also a importer. So in sort of a way, we can like feed off each other's weakness, and we managed to link up. I managed to link up factories. The lady managed to link up buyers, and essentially we have people with lawyer background and importing skills and all this. So we managed to smoothen the trade with factories. Right now, a lot of factories are not accepting LCs and escrow right now because it's a seller's market right now. It's very.
Well, yeah, I think if I could add some ideas, or from what I heard, there's an export in China. They're not, the government doesn't allow them or want them to export. Is that, or there's a limit on how much they can export or something like that?
Now they are opening. Actually, now they are actually opening up in the process of opening up. But there's certain medical grade mask or equipment that needs more application, I would say. So there's more steps coming in, but then there's actually more buyers in the market. There's actually buyers that is like doing TT or cash payment, right? So it used to be when we do FBA or import export, we will ask for small trades to build up trust. We maybe order a small order to build trust slowly over time.
Yep.
But now the whole market is different. It's a very different ballgame because right now everything has to move fast. So what I find is that when you use the old method whereby you order a small order, then you build trust, it doesn't work in this situation anymore. Because you have to work with a lot of. I'm not saying to race. I won't say race, but you have to be cautious and be more flexible in terms of. When I have my first deal, the company insisted on LC, and at least Escrow, it wasn't working because the factory was like, there was people queuing up at the
Yeah.
doorstep, pay with cash, you know.
Yeah.
So if you are a factory, will you take the cash or will you take the escrow or
Of course. Yeah. I mean, cash now. I mean, it sounds scary though, right? Because the factory
Mhm.
could be. How do you know they're even shipping it or QCing it or anything? If you just pay them before it ships, or you probably somebody's checking it first, checking the
Uh,
order.
there, there- there's a few ways to go about it. Of course, all these people that's buying in big volumes has the cash, and you need to invest in inspections, right? So one way that we found to overcome this is like you hire the best inspection service in the world, get them on the ground to do inspections in the factories first to build up trust, right? And then after that, it's like a lot of lawyer works. Right now, every deal we work with is a lot of lawyer works to build up the contracts to connect all the dots. Right? It's very technical because you need to get underwriters involved, insurance involved. It's a lot of work to negotiate. It takes about at least the fastest about I think right now it's about 5 days, right? When we have to work fast to get a deal to go through. And we are fighting against time because most of the clients are urgently needing the product. Right? It's not like a normal procurement process. It's no more that, you know, there's no way to. So a lot more steps to take, but it still can be overcome. It still can be overcome. But you need to sort things out. Right? But the people involved will be more. There will be more people involved to protect the buyer's interest and the seller's interest.
Mm, okay, got it. So yeah, it's happening fast. The so this seems what so what's your take of spreading Italy as of recording is like on lockdown, at least north, or I think all of Italy is closed. Iran. I mean, do you think this? It seems like you're betting this is going to be needed for a while.
I'm not betting. Personally, I don't want it to last. I hope for it to go away, but then uh, it's a bad situation, you know. In fact, what my first client is from Italy, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we know the urgency, but there's this. So we had to overcome a lot of issues like um building trust, like setting up the inspections and all this. It's not been easy, but partly if we don't do it, it's pretty hard. You know, it's pretty hard for all those people. I'm not saying I'm doing a holy job or anything, you know, but then we're just connecting the dots, right?
Got it.
And right now, from what I know, I hate to say this, but I think it's going to get worse. It's going to
Hmm.
get worse. And I don't, you know, I'm just trying to play my part, you know. No doubt, I'm not going to tell you lies that I'm doing it free. I do make a commission out of it. But then, you know, we as business people, we can do our part with our connections. Sometimes we can smoothen the deals to get things moving faster. And also, a lot of the time, a lot of the companies and all this who has never done this before and who urgently jumps into this and need the things bought
Hmm.
suddenly. So it's a bad situation. I'm not. I mean, I I would rather this not have happened, but we're just dealing with it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand the situation. Yeah, I mean, it's tough emotional times for everyone, and I hope, yeah, I hope this just calms down. So you've been doing this now for like a month now or so? Like, what have you already noticed changing? Is going up, supply demand is going up, and you said like people
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Yeah. Right now, it started off with a lot of buyers not willing to buy with China masks and all this. But as the volume of cases go up, there's almost no choice right now
Mm-hmm.
because the cases with the numbers of people, with the production power of the world, there's no choice but slowly, right? Slowly, buyers are being funneled to buy from China right now because China is restarting the production, and they are the only country with factories with enough capacity to fulfill. Like they have factories that can make 1 million masks a day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and there's other countries. There's some factories in India that has this capacity. All right, but most countries doesn't have this capacity. I mean, I have connections to Thailand factories, which can only make 1 million masks in about 3 weeks, right? So it depends on the capacity. Capacity is also one very big issue here because if you can make it faster, uh, more people can have access to it faster.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My wife is saying there's also machines that people are buying, or she has some factory that makes the machine that makes the mask so that people could make the mask in their home country. Is that something you've.
I've heard that all this machine has the prices have been going up. Actually, I also have deal with the material of the mask, and it is going crazy. Everything related to virus, right? Like the thermometers. When I was sourcing it, it's crazy. I can give you a direct, rough price. Right now, they are like selling about $40 for one thermometer at a wholesale price.
Man.
Okay, when you look at Amazon UK, it's about $50 or $60 with existing stock. So it doesn't make sense. Everything is distorted right now. But the scanning thermometers may come down in price in the next few weeks. That's my sources who has told me that prices will be stabilizing, coming back a little bit more normal.
Yeah, okay. So that's interesting insight. So what kind of products are there? There's the material, there's the actual mask, there's the machine, there's a thermometer. Like what is that the of course there's even the gel or the alcohol. I mean, you get involved with that? Is that from China or is that.
Well, there's actually certain countries are putting restrictions right now. Like in Thailand, they actually restricted imports of hand sanitizer from other countries. So right now, we're not dealing with hand sanitizer or anything related to it because there's a 70% alcohol content and it's harder to move around,
Mm-hmm.
because of safety issues.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
And then the shipments, maybe
And
let's go ahead.
no, you go ahead first.
I was just wondering about the deal flow. So you said no LC, no escrow, so it's just cash TT bank transfer and then release goods from China, like by air, by sea, mostly probably by air, right? Like, or sea, or what?
It depends on how desperate the situation is or how urgent the case is. Maybe partial by, it depends also on the distance, Everyone is trying to procure from all over the world, all right? You say, for example, if you have a nearer factory that if you say you're in Europe, you procure from, say, Mexico, right? It's very expensive to ship by air, right? But maybe what one of my clients has been doing is like for Mexico, they are going by ship. For the Thailand side, they are going by air. so
Hmm.
that the one that's nearer can supply the current supply, and then the ship one will come in later. Like uh, in rotations.
Okay. So I don't know if you can see my video, but this is the mask. Actually, Mark, one of partners at Alpha
It's
Rock,
a N95 with more.
yeah, it's an N95. I had this since the volcano. When the volcano erupted in the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
we started using the mask before the virus. So is this? So this is the N95. I think this is a pretty good one. I think, but is that the normal one, or is that what are you
The one,
normally? What are people buying?
the N95 market is crazy right now. It's there are people selling for one at $5 at wholesale price. It's totally inflated, and people are flipping that market and taking advantage of consumers. Let's be very frank. So
Where do you think that happens from the factory or the trader or who's marking it up? Where does it start?
it's actually, I can't blame the factory, because the factory themselves, the cost has gone up for the raw material, and because of the demand, when you face the fact that you have people queuing up, all right, when there's so little supply and there's so much demand, the price will go up. But it's the it's the in between sellers, when they flip, when one person have the sauce, they make a buck, and then they flip it to maybe, let's say, for example, I'm in Asia, and then you're in Europe, you need that, all right, maybe in small quantities. I flip it over to you, and I'll maybe like add a bit of like 50 cents per unit or something. So it all adds.
Mm, got it.
So
Interesting. Yeah, it's a raw
this is
material. It's just the whole supply chain.
it's 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 not a good situation for the normal people.
So I was just saying, yeah, I mean, I understand it's just a pressure on the whole supply chain from raw material factory trading, everybody moving the price up. Uh, so the flow would be just what's the normal quantity people need to order? Is there MOQs? I mean, wholesale 1,000 piece, 5,000, or more is better probably.
It is actually, factories are actually running, at least from what I see, big ones are actually minimum MOQ are like now half a mil. Then I've seen, and there are some those that can produce 1 mil a day are like taking orders daily. All right, and people are like collecting their masks daily at the factory. And there's one thing that I need to also bring up, is that there's actually people that has lots of cash buying up production. That means I will go to a factory. Let's say you have a factory, and I go there and say, I'll buy your next 50 million production, and I put a table on the cash, and
Well,
I will I will resell the production batch by batch at at much higher price. And it's those people with cash, or it may be a group of people, it may be one single people, and they are doing it right now with the factories.
okay, understand. I'm just taking some notes. It's similar like stock market where people buy futures, or gold or oil futures. So what people do is they buy like a banker will buy out the rights to the oil and then sell contracts. So it seems like what they're trying to do with this market with the masks, they're buying the capacity and then selling it, reselling it in the future.
Exactly. Right now, mass has sort of become a commodity. All right.
Crazy.
It is, yeah, it's not a good thing. For the common people, it's not a good thing. But then And right now with the oil prices, with the stock market, this is going to turn out to be a very bad year for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been nuts.
Right.
We're doing this on Tuesday. This show will be online probably next Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, just yesterday, March 9th, it was the biggest drop for at least since 2008, I think. But so this has been fascinating, Ivan. I think we got a good insights. So how can people work with you or connect with you, or what's the opportunity here? What's the next step?
Oh, if you need, if you want to reach me, you can look for me, Ivan Tan,
Okay.
on Facebook. I mean,
Okay.
based in Chiang Mai. Send me a
Yep.
message.
Okay. Great. Yeah, man. This is your first podcast. It was awesome to have you. I hope to get you on more shows. Well, maybe we'll do an update, hopefully when this calms down, and hear how the rest
I'm
of the story goes.
Yeah. I'm so nervous, Mike.
You did great. This is awesome. Thanks. Thanks for sharing, Ivan. This is great.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, okay, okay.
All right.
I believe I trust you. All right? I trust
Yeah,
you.
it's great. It's great.